Coming up today, peel and stick wallpaper, DIY doors, and so much more. Let's get started. Hi guys, welcome in and welcome back to my channel, Home with Christy T. I'm Christy T, interior designer, content creator, and lover of all things home decor and DIY. Happy New Year's! It is officially 2024, and I do hope that you guys had an amazing holiday season and an amazing New Year's Day, and it is time to finally get back into all the DIY projects and to making over my home into the home that we really want it to be. So if you've been following along since a little bit around late September, you know that I have been working to get my office together because it was the first room that I really wanted to bring life to so that I can have a space to create content for you guys, as well as work on all of my interior design projects and do all of the things in here. So today we are finishing the last major project in this room, and if you can't tell by the title, you can obviously tell by what's behind me on my left and my right, and that is we are doing a beautiful Ikea hack. So let's get into it. Now, the perfect thing about this DIY is that it involves no power tools, no sanding, no priming, no sanding, no priming, no sanding, no priming, no sanding, no priming. And I say that is because if you do decide to go the opposite route of applying this peel and stick wallpaper to your shelves, then you will have to do multiple sands and primes and sands and primes and sands and primes. And obviously that was something I didn't really feel like doing. And so I honestly think this turned out perfectly. So let's just hop into how I did. So this is definitely one of those moments on my channel where I would say do as I say and not actually as I do. I decided to go ahead and assemble the bookcase first before applying the peel and stick wallpaper, and that was a huge mistake. So definitely don't do that. Go ahead and attach the peel and stick wallpaper to the shelves and to the bookshelf itself before assembling. So since I had two of these bookshelves to assemble, once again, I learned from the first one that obviously I should have applied the peel and stick wallpaper first, but you're just going to go ahead and see me assemble the first one and then apply it later. But the sun was going down honestly while I was doing the second one, so I don't think I got much footage of that. You'll notice right here that I already have the extension piece attached to my Billy bookcase shelf, and that is once again a huge mistake to make because I was hoping just to decrease the seam of where the two parts connect, but I was able to do that in the end anyway. So definitely don't do this step of attaching it first and trying to connect the paper with it on there. It's just, once again, you'll see towards the end that I had to take this part off anyway and restart over. So if I could give you any advice, it is this: cover each piece right out of the box with the peel and stick wallpaper. Then proceed to follow the IKEA instructions of how to assemble the bookcase. This is just going to give you a seamless, clean look in the end and really just make it a lot more easy for you to achieve this nice, clean look as if you painted it with all of the other processes that you could have followed. Another tip that I would give is that you definitely want to take your time with this, and one thing to note is that this peel and stick wallpaper, which I'll be leaving down below as well, came with these sheets of Disney stickers, which I thought was really cute. But you definitely want to take your time. You don't want to have any bubbles. You want this once again to be as seamless and as flat as possible as if you painted it. So I also did decide to go ahead and use the backing that came with the bookcase shelves. You can easily switch this out for a cute board and batten or anything like that, but I knew that when I got these shelves that I wanted to cover the back with some type of peel and stick wallpaper. Even if I didn't do the shelves themselves, I originally wanted this beautiful Barbie inspired peel and stick wallpaper from Wall Shoppy. I'll try to link it down below if you decide to get it. It was a lavender and white color, which I thought was really beautiful, by the time I went back to go purchase it, it was out of stock and I couldn't find it. So It was a miss there, but I definitely wish I could have used that. But I still think that the lavender that I chose turned out really great, and that it's just really nice and modern and sleek with it all being one solid lavender color. Now I will be leaving a link to all of the materials that I used for this project down below, as well as how many of these rolls that I ended up using. But to conserve on paper, you'll notice that on the backing of this, I knew that I was adding doors to this, so I did not take this paper all the way down to the bottom, just enough to cover the top area where I knew the shelves would be open and you'll be able to see it. But where the doors are going to meet and close, I did not cover that, and that is something that was just preference, and you can choose to or choose not to do. So once I had all of the paper attached, I was able to go in with my Exacto knife and just trim everything nice and clean to make sure that it looked really nice and that it could sit flush against my walls without any bulging. You have 8-foot ceilings like I do in this room, and you decide to purchase the extension for the Billy bookcase, I highly recommend waiting until you actually have the first part of the bookcase up and then attaching an extension on top. If not, let's just say I'm letting you know because of experience, trying to get it up with the angle and the pitch of the roof here and like just the slope, all of those wonderful terms will not really work trying to get it on with the extension. You'll have to add that extension later. So do as I say, not as I do, because I almost died. So after some help from my husband, I was finally able to get that first shelf up, and then it was on to the second shelf. So I'm not going to repeat everything that I just showed you guys because that's a little bit redundant, but I did want to show you guys how on the second one that I learned from the first one, which like I said, you can see here that none of the shelf is assembled yet. I am just going ahead and covering each piece in this beautiful purple pill and stick wallpaper as before, but once again, before assembling it. I covered every shelf, every bottom piece, every side piece, every back piece. All of it got covered in pill and stick wallpaper before I started to assemble it according to the IKEA instructions. Now the perfect thing about this is that this is very much renter friendly because guess what? I am a military spouse and we move a lot. So that means they're gonna at some point have to take these shelves apart, and I may want to reposition my shelves. With using the pill and stick wallpaper, I was able to cover up all the holes that I didn't want to use. And then once I did finally have all the shelves assembled and was able to figure out the exact height I wanted each of my shelves, I was able to just go in and cut out the holes that I want to use and leave the rest covered, giving it a seamless look. Now on to part 2 of this project, which is making my own doors, which I'm not sure if I mentioned already, but I'm making my own doors. I didn't really like the IKEA ones, and with obviously no help from Coco, I got to measure my boards, not 1 time, not 2 times, but 3 times, because you always want to measure several times and cut once. Now, also because I am deciding to do my own doors, this is where I will need power tools such as a drill and such. I did also decide to purchase these beginner-friendly hinges that I thought would be really easy to get on, which for the most part they were. They were a lot easier than if I had used traditional inset hinges, so I will be leaving those linked down below for you guys. But they did not come with instructions, and thankfully I was able to find the same hinges at Lowe's, so they had instructions on how to attach them there. So I will be leaving that PDF down for you guys so that if you decide to do this, you can easily calculate the math on where to position your hinges, because it may not be the same as mine. So something to keep in mind. So finally, once I had all of my girl math done, I got to pre-drilling and prepping to install these shelves. Now, one thing I wish I had done with this first one was cover the door itself in the pill and stick wallpaper before attaching it. Once again, learning along the way here, but now that I know, you guys know. And I got to drilling and pre-installing everything, and then it was just time to go ahead and attach these doors. Now, once again, it's better to work with 2 people on this portion as well, but I was working by myself because I am a strong Black independent woman and I still need my man, and yet I did not call for help. And And once I had both doors attached, I went ahead and covered it in the beautiful purple peel and stick wallpaper as before. And I did decide to edge band the raw edge, but I didn't have clips of that, so just know that I did do that on the right side door but not on the left because you won't see it. And the final thing that I was to do was to go ahead and install all of my shelves. Now that all of the paper was up, all of the doors were up, I went ahead and installed each of my shelves, and I placed them according to the length that I wanted for spacing wise. So figure that out, take a measure, take a rule, or do whatever you have to do to figure out the length that you want in between. You'll see that I was struggling just a little bit here, but with a little bit finessing, you can easily slide this in and get it on those little pegs. And finally, it's time for the reveal. So that is going to be all for today's video. I do hope that you enjoyed coming along for this beginner-friendly IKEA hack. I know that I enjoyed it, and I personally enjoyed it more than having to sand and or prime multiple times to get the color that I want. I do want to give a few shout outs to a few YouTube videos that I watched prior to completing this DIY, which is one is Tina Lee. Her channel is amazing, been following her for a while, and also Raven Elise, who also recently did a IKEA hack in her daughter's playroom. And after watching her video and seeing how much pain and stress she went through with sanding and priming and sanding and priming and all of the things, I was definitely like, no, this inspired the way that we did this DIY today. So shout out to those channels. I do hope again that you guys enjoyed coming along for today's journey. Stay tuned because I do have amazing big news coming up in a few weeks. So I hope that you guys will continue to join me each week, and I will see you next time. Bye.